Hi everyone, it's Nancy back with another process video, and yet again I'm trying to use up this Dear Lizzy Fifth and Frolic collection. There's still quite a bit of paper in here, but I really want to get it used up, so I'm just flicking through and pulling out these two sheets of paper which are going to be sort of my core elements. I also have some bits of paper on my desk from a previous layout. I'm going to be scrapping 4 pictures on this layout, and I'm going to cut 2 of them down, and this is just a selection of the foodie shots that I took while in America. So I'm just going to cluster those together on that piece of Dear Lizzy paper. And again, you've seen me do this many times, cluster my photos this way. And I'm just trying to get them to sit down right, and I'm just going to trim around that. And as I said, these are not really particularly interesting photos to scrap by themselves, but really I just wanted to show and do a little bit of journaling about the different food we had and sort of where we ate and things like that. I pulled this card again because I wanted to use it on my last layout, but couldn't get it to work because I had so many photos on the layout. But I actually decided now that I am going to cut it down. It's still a little bit too big, so I do end up cutting it into sort of banner ends. But you will see me throughout the video fuss with that quite a lot. But I mean, that's really going to act as some kind of sort of subtitle, really. So I'm just taking some of the other cutter parts from that sheet and just cutting those up. Again, going to use them as sort of layering pieces. And then I've still got this Polaroid sheet. So again, it's trying to use those up as well. And as I said, it's, you know, I really like that piece of paper as a, you know, embellishments really. And I've actually used most of that piece of paper up now. I think I'm about 4 layouts ahead from this one that I'm narrating now. So I did use that on several bits coming up. I cut out this other little tag which is from the Teresa Collins cut apart sheets. I'm just really trying to use those up. I also pull out this stamp set, which is my foodie stamp set. I believe that is a Studio Calico one. Pulling out my Versamark here, so I'm going to be using that for the first time, as I got that in my recent haul, and I got it from Stampin' Up. And I'm just going to gold emboss this knife, fork and spoon. So I'm just actually putting some ink on the stamps because I hadn't actually used them lately, so just wanted to check that they were stamping okay. And then I've just used my Versamark there. Obviously it's the first time I've used this, so I'm not sure how quickly you have to work or, you know, or what. So I do find this glittery gold embossing powder does flake off quite a lot, but I'm kind of quite happy with how that ended. I'm just using a paintbrush there to brush off some of the excess. I managed to brush it completely off a piece, so but I'm happy with how that looks. I do manage to get embossing powder everywhere though. So again, just trying to clean off some of the excess. And then just using my heat tool to heat emboss this. As I say, I've got some embossing powder. I think they might even be at the caravan, so it's something I want to play with more. And I really love this stamp set. I didn't get it when it first was available, and I ended up having to hunt for it on eBay, but I'm really glad I found it. I do take quite a lot of foodie pictures. There I am, just waving like crazy these Do Craft mists. As I said before, they've got so much mica in it, and it really settles at the bottom. I know some people have said about stirring them on their side, but I don't have the room to do that. So, but yeah, I'm really loving that gold, and I'm just using some of the coral as well. And I've just laid my card in the middle there because I wanted to add some mist to it. And so I'm just then using my heat tool to dry that, because I say that gold does take a bit longer to dry. Again, I probably should edit this out, but for some reason I always think after, when I'm watching it to do the narration, that I should edit it out, but I'll look at doing that again maybe in the future. So, deciding to stick my large photo mat down there, and now I'm going to start layering up my other bits and pieces. So I'm just using that half a Polaroid up there and just adding some gold mist. And this is here where I'm cutting that down yet again. So I'm just using my ATG to stick all these bits and pieces down. Just trying to work out where my clusters are going to go. Again, just adding some gold mist over those layers. I'm not sure what I'm doing at this point. Oh, there you go. I'm cutting out this crepe paper camera. I've moved my camera slightly, so I seem to kind of cut myself off a bit, so I can't always tell what I'm doing. And my memory's quite bad, so I can't remember. So yeah, I'm just cutting that camera up to add to that bottom cluster. And to say that sort of coral colour matches really well with the other pieces. So I'm fiddling again and cutting this banner down, because I don't want it to kind of like take up too much of that photo. I'm going to fuss a lot with this card. I do end up then cutting it down, but then it's too small really to fit on top of there. You're going to see me move it around quite a bit. Now I think about putting it up on the photo, decide I don't like that. But yeah, basically you're going to see me move it around a lot. So I'm happy finally, and I stick that banner down. Still moving that around. And I end up just tucking it under, and you can't actually see the pointed bit at all. So I'm just using some 3D foam here to stick the camera down. I want, just to pop that up slightly. Not sure what I was doing. I think I was probably Netflix asking me if I wanted to continue watching. I just find that really funny when it comes up, do you want to continue playing? As if like Netflix is telling you, you've sat here for like 3 hours and you haven't moved. Are you still alive? Do you still want to watch Netflix? I always find that message really funny. And also really annoying, because it's like, yes, I still want to watch. Okay, anyway, back to layout rather than my ramblings. I pull out this transparency and just look at adding that to that cluster there, and then I add the other part over to the side here. I think I could have used that second half better, rather than tucking it over to the side there, but no, I'm happy how it looks. I mean, there's not really much room over that side, so I've had to be a little bit picky. So I'm just going through my die cuts box, looking at what I could possibly use on this layout. I believe that's a little chipboard arrow from the Urban Traveller by Simple Stories. Then I'm taking one of these word strips, which was from a Maggie Holmes piece of paper, and I'm just cutting that again into a little banner and sticking that in that bottom cluster. I'm just trying to work out where I want to put that arrow, if anywhere, and I don't end up using it. Trying to find something to add to that cluster over on the side. The orange of that label is wrong. I look at adding a camera, but it competes with the camera that I've got on the other side. So I am going to struggle slightly on what to add here. I have a sticker that was just on my desk, so I do add that. And then I pull out these Jenny Bolin stamp sets, which I'm trying to use up, as you know. And I do use the colours that match on here. I only have a few left now, so I'm hoping to get them used up pretty soon on a layout. Just going through the Teresa Collins We Are Family, just seeing if there's anything there that matches. And then I pull out my wood veneers. And just seeing what I want to add. I pull out the wood asterisks and look at adding one of those to each of the clusters. And again, it just adds that little bit of interest. I do just want to stamp up there on the label, and I did just use my new Stampin' Up roller stamp. I'm just going through my Flair tin here. That is off camera, unfortunately. I do pull out some of the wood veneer letters, and I will be using those. So I'm just going to stick these veneers down, and I do end up adding a little bit of colour to those. Excuse me. These are some stickers which I got from Paperchase in a recent haul, and they're kind of like Americana sort of diner themed. So there's like little stickers that say eat, there's cute little hearts and motel stickers and arrows and stuff like that. So I do just pick one of the little pink hearts off and add that to the clusters, and again I just use 3 of those to create sort of a little visual triangle. Just trying to stick those photos down a little better. Just tipping out these alphas, and as you've probably seen, you know, lots of people do, they are a little bit annoying. You have to go through them all to find the letters that you want. And then I try and tip them back in the bag, and then they fall everywhere. But yeah. And then just pulling out this gold washi tape, just seeing if I wanted to add that anywhere. Again, just trying to work out if I want to add this into any of the clusters. I do just add a little bit of the gold dot washi tape. Just trying to add it to that bottom cluster there. And say, just adding it again on 3 points on the layout. So now I'm going to stick down these letters, which are very fiddly. And I'm just overlapping this over this bottom cluster here, so where the Polaroid and everything is. And I'm just using my normal wet glue to stick those down. And again, I mean, I really like them, but they are quite small with letters, so you do need to be a bit selective where you use them. I did just use a little geotag there as well. Just making sure all my wood veneers are stuck down. Excuse me. I'm just taking my coral Heidi Swap and using that just to colour in the wood veneers. It just, it just adds a nice sheer colour over them. And then I'm going to use my gold to colour over the LA food title. That's now coming up towards the end of this layout. This layout did just take me over an hour, which is slightly longer than normal, but because I've done the embossing, that took a little bit more time. I will add some close-up photos at the end, so you can see that bottom cluster and how glitzy that embossing looks. I'm just using the gold to go over some of these elements as well, just to pick that shine up. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll be back with some more process videos later this week. Cheers, bye!